and he handed it to me. I actually have this. So if anyone is actually interested in buying this, you let me know, reach out to me, and it's definitely on the auction. If someone wants to buy it for the right price, I will release it and sell it for sure, 100%. I could always use that money and put it towards my kid's college fund or something. So, if you're interested in this inmate card, let me know.
Of really a dope artist, actually. I thought he was great. And he's full of energy. And he's got a positive message that is real. And something about this kid, when I watch him, he reminds me of a guy, Chi-Chi, that's a good friend of mine from MS-13, who got out of the life. And we're going to have him on the show, my friend. Right. And I just flew out to Arizona, and I seen my friend Chi-Chi recently. And this kid really reminds me of him because he's so full of life and he's so real. And you got a lot of haters. And people hate people that are doing good. You know that, G.
Of course.
Everybody's doing good, they're hating on a guy. But this guy hit the music world, and he's incredible. And there's no stopping this kid from what I see. And he's right down the alley of what we talk about. And it doesn't got to be mob kids, but any gang kids that we are speaking up for and trying to save lives. And this kid just has a great message. And
absolutely, man. And what I was noticing is that people don't even care what he did because they know when he explained himself, he explained what they did to him, and why is he going to be loyal, like the same thing we say, to something that has no loyalty. Like, he made such a great example for it, you know what I mean?
Well, introduce who we're talking about.
Tekashi 6ix9ine, man. It's like, I got to be honest with you, I seen his song, I was dying laughing, I said, this kid, I like that, I like what he's doing. And, he explained it so well. Why would I stay loyal to something that is not loyal to me? Look what they're doing to him on the way, everything. So why would I be loyal? And he has so many people loving him still, and I really like what's going on with him. I do. There's some good stuff.
And I got to tell you, this is not my generation. He's a young kid. So when I'm looking at him and I'm listening to his music, I'm saying, hey, this kid really is a dope kid. I mean, this kid really, and he had a hard life. He ain't a spoon-fed kid. Nah. He watched his stepfather die in front of him when he was a little kid. And, you're going to get people hating because he hit the music world that I never seen it. This kid really is incredible. I've been listening and watching his videos, and I get a kick out of how much energy he has.
He's breaking all the...
Wake me up inside. Wake up. Wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark.
Anything you can be, I can be greater. Sooner or later, I'm greater than you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Castaways. We are castaways. Ahoy there, ahoy. We are castaways.
Something, I'm going to get serious with you, and I'm going to get serious with you for a few moments. Something I don't like to do because most of the time you don't understand where I'm coming from, but I think this time everyone will understand this. I want to talk about people that have the world by the tail, so to speak. People that have everything right in their hand that they could possibly want. But what do they do? What do they do? A moment's weakness, and they take the devil's powder and they run it up their nose. They call it cocaine, say it's a good time, and their careers are gone. I don't have to mention no names. We all know them. It's a shame. It's a shame that any man has to be so weak inside to let something like that control his life. Now, everybody goes through life and they make mistakes, but you have to judge yourself as to what degree of mistake you can withstand to make. They made the wrong choice.
We'll get there, man. We'll get there. I'm proud of myself and Shane.
Then the next morning, after that night, we get up, We're both in our drawers, in our boxes, and Sammy is drinking coffee. Sammy gets up before me. Sammy's drinking coffee, and I come in the living room, and Sammy says, "You want a cup of coffee?" "Sure, Sammy, thank you." And then he says, "You want a shot of Zambuca?" And we have a shot of Zambuca too. So that's how we started our day off. Then from there, we went to breakfast. Every morning we went to breakfast. Now, sitting down with Sammy at breakfast was a fun time. We would stand outside, because this is when the COVID is also over there. We're standing outside, sitting on a car, and all of a sudden, a Mexican guy comes over. And he looks at Sammy, looks at me, he says, "Wow, I like those sneakers," to me. And then he looks at Sammy, he says, are you who I think you are?" And Sammy says, "Hey bro, what's up? You know, how's everything?" And he says, "Oh wow, I can't believe it, Sammy the Bull." You know, and so then from there, we go to Sammy's studio. Now, Sammy shows me around the studio. He has all this merchandise, he has pictures, he has balls he signs, he has all kinds of photos, Al Capone, Spark Steakhouse menus. So right away, as soon as I walk in there, I go, "Sammy," I said, I want one of these, I want one of these, I want one of these, give me one of these, I forget. But every night we went out to dinner, and we went to some fancy restaurants. Eventually, he sits down with me, he says, "This is what I want to show you. I want to show you every day my routine." So his routine every day is looking at his subscribes, how many subscribers he got, and his videos, how many views he got, and he calculates everything. So Sammy is strictly business when it comes to YouTube. You know, he found a way of making it a business, and he said, you know, pay attention. He says, you know, this is something you should do when you get home. 5 days I spent there was breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We went out at the studio, we would order. And when I told Sammy I want all these things, "Sammy, give me this, sign this for me, Sammy, sign that for me." Sammy looked at me, he said, "Whoa," he said, "what are you doing, shaking me down?" I said, "Sammy," I said, "I gotta get this stuff while I have access to you." I said, "I don't know when I'm ever gonna see you again." You know, so I put all that stuff he gave me. I went to the post office and I sent it to my house. When I got home, it was at my house, and I have all this merchandise from Sammy. And if I was you, go out there, order this merchandise from Sammy. He's got some really good stuff. And eventually Karen came around. We went out to dinner with Karen. We had a nice dinner at a nice Italian restaurant. All of us sat down. It was a nice time, but it's a memory for me that's gonna last a lifetime, spending time with Sammy the Bull. So I wanted to share that with you, and I have a few more other things I'm gonna leave out, but eventually I'll share those things with you.
That is very concerning, and I dealt with that in the last case. A lot of these informants, they never had a conversation with the defendant. They never spoke to the defendant. They didn't know the defendant. They didn't meet the defendant. They were just giving their account of what they were supposedly told, sometimes twice removed. So somebody told somebody who told them, and then they were testifying to that. It's a frightening notion, folks, to think the power of rumors, hearsay, and gossip can potentially have. And the public isn't aware of that.
Prosecution asks you about, do you know of any other murders in the neighborhood? I know about a whole bunch of murders in the neighborhood, but basically it's hearsay. So at this time, I didn't see Joey Calco for about 8 years. I did a prison term of 6 years. Joey Calco was on the street. Joey Calco, Tommy Reynolds was doing a lot of damage out there. Obviously, they committed a couple murders. They end up killing Paulie G. I have nothing to do with the Paulie G murder. I was in prison at the time. I would never, ever kill any of my own friends. That wasn't me. So me and Joey Calco corroborated a couple things. The Vincent Bickerman murder and just a lot of street bullshit. You know what I mean? Nothing I was involved.
Hi, let's play a game. I'm going to whisper one thing to my friend. My girlfriend and I are having problems. And my friend is going to do his best to pass the same message forward, one by one, to reach everyone in this human chain. But by the end of it, something crazy happens. my original whisper changes.
Oh my gosh, your girlfriend cheated on you?
This is the telephone game. It's a game that shows you exactly how gossip works, where anything you say to anyone will be modified. You say something to a friend, but your friend will say it differently because of human error. They're about to break up.
Really?
Human bias. His girlfriend left him. Or because of human lies.
His girlfriend cheated on him.
And in no time, the fake message will spread around like wildfire and will lose its accuracy.
My girlfriend and I are having problems.
The telephone game is just a game for kids, but the idea behind it is very important.
Former Bonanno crime family associate Hector Pagan missed his star turn on his ex-wife's reality TV show when he decided to turn government informant in 2011. His brief television career flamed out when Gangland revealed he had worn a government wire, snitching out his mob capo father-in-law among many others. This made him ineligible for what was to have been a prominent role on that year's upcoming season of Mob Wives, the inexplicably wildly popular show starring Renee Graziano, the former Mrs. Hector Pagan, and a host of other mob-tied lovelies. So it's too bad for Pagan, now that he's about to be a true star witness in Brooklyn federal court, that there won't be any TV cameras there to record him as he relates what are sure to be riveting tales of crime. In trial slated to begin March 4th before Brooklyn federal judge John Gleason, Pagan will take the stand for the first time. He'll be testifying for the government against two former gangster pals who are charged with the July 2, 2010 robbery and murder of a traveling check casher who doubled as a mob money launderer. What will be most fascinating will be the part when he gets to the murder. That's because the shooter that day was Hector Pagan. The story he'll tell, if he sticks to the script as laid out in government court documents, will be one any TV producer would jump to put on tape. He'll tell how he and a trio of fellow members of a robbery and drug-dealing crew stalked their victim, learning his schedule and movements. He'll tell how they wore baseball caps and sunglasses to help disguise their identities. He'll tell how they sat in a pair of cars in a supermarket parking lot for hours, smoking cigarettes, watching the auto body shop down the block in Gravesend, Brooklyn, waiting for their victim to show. Then he'll tell how, when their target drove up at 2:13 in the summer afternoon, they pounced. How one auto blocked the victim's exit, while Pagan and one of his friends, guns in hand, ordered the man out of his car. He'll tell how they grappled as he resisted. And then Pagan will tell how the victim spun out of their grasp, tried to run away, and got shot. Who shot him? Well, that'll be the good part of the testimony. The first few times Pagan was asked that question by law enforcement officers, he fudged. Maybe someone else shot him, he suggested. He eventually saw the wisdom of agreeing to spill what he knew in exchange for what he hopes will be a get-out-of-jail card and told the truth about what happened that day. Which was that as the check casher, a man named James Donovan, was trying to get away, Hector Pagan shot him, striking Donovan in the thigh. He'll tell how he and his cohorts then grabbed what they were after, a black bag with $90,000 in cash and $60,000 in checks, and fled. Some other official witness will have to fill in the jury on what happened next, how an ambulance sped Donovan to Lutheran Hospital where it was too late. Pagan's bullet had severed the femoral artery in Donovan's leg. He bled to death. It'll be interesting to hear how Pagan explains what made him shoot. The goal, presumably, was to grab that bag of cash and, according to the official version of events, Donovan was concentrating more on staying alive than protecting his loot. But criminal law holds that, if someone gets killed in the course of a robbery, all the robbers are as guilty of murder as the one who pulls the trigger. So all prosecutors really need is for Pagan to convince jurors that two former pals, who are alleged to be the surviving members of that day's crew, were with him when he fired the fatal bullet into James Donovan. One of them, Richard Riccardi, is alleged to have come up with the idea for the score. Riccardi had spent time hanging around Gravesend Auto on West 3rd Street near Avenue Y, one of Donovan's regular stops on his check-cashing route. Prosecutors claim that Riccardi supplied the guns used in the robbery, and had pulled earlier jobs with the same gang. When authorities executed a search warrant on Riccardi's Staten Island home and car, they found a pair of pistols, ballistic body armor, and the kind of tools a salesman who sold marijuana in bulk might need. Riccardi's co-defendant is a tub-shaped would-be wise guy with a lengthy rap sheet named Luigi Grasso, who also goes by the name Ronnie Petrino. Surveillance photos by city police detectives who broke the case revealed that Grasso has managed to stencil his ample girth with a tattoo reading, Brooklyn. Search warrants on the Grasso Petrino home in New Jersey, which may be tattooed elsewhere, uncovered more guns, ammo, and a copy of Firepower magazine captures the lifestyle that is firearms. They also found a walkie-talkie, a pair of black masks, a wig and a false mustache. A separate search warrant for phone traffic between Grasso and Riccardi revealed the men joking cleverly about their business. If he needed money, Riccardi texted Grasso, he could rob a bank lol JK. Grasso responded, lol I am retired laughing face. The fourth alleged member of the robbery team displayed a similar level of smarts. The late Nunzio, Nicky DiCarlo is listed in court documents as a Gambino crime family soldier, although when he was convicted of racketeering in 1987 and sent to prison for 18 years he was running with the drug-dealing crew of Colombo family soldier Greg Scarpa Jr. Whoever gave him his button had to have regretted it. A junkie, DiCarlo died 3 months after the robbery of a heroin overdose at the age of 46. Pagan's version of events is that he met Riccardi, Grasso and DiCarlo in the spring of 2010 while providing protection for the owner of a Staten Island sports club. The four men bonded over their mutual interest in robberies and drug dealing. They started plotting crimes, including a successful crash and grab heist of $30,000 from a fellow pot dealer just weeks before the Donovan robbery. Cross-examination of the star witness may well be even more interesting than his direct testimony. The lawyers who will ask Pagan to expand on his life and career choices are Robert Soloway, representing Grasso, and Susan Kelman, representing Riccardi. Kelman is on a big role in Brooklyn federal court. In November, she won an acquittal for Colombo family consigliere Joe Waverly Cacus on charges he ordered the killing of a New York City cop. That followed 3 earlier not guilty verdicts, including an extortion case and a narcotics indictment. Kelman said she is eager to meet Pagan. The case of my client hinges on the word of, well, I don't know what to call him, she said. A drug-addicted movie star.
Because everyone's glorifying all these rats and shit.
It's sick, dude. Look, like we said before, you said it too. 5-6 years ago, Sammy Gravano's name, Schmiegel's name, was the most disgusting thing on the planet. Italians wouldn't utter the word Gravano. It was just the most lowest thing. And now you've got these simps. But I say it's only on the computer, though. In real life, I live in South Dakota, and I go to the South Dakota Italian Festival in Little Italy, South Dakota. And I never see Italians wearing Sammy the Bull T-shirts. I go to the feasts, the festivals. I never once seen a Sammy the Bull T-shirt. So people might like him on here and simp for them on here. But in real life, I don't think they would do that in public. You know, in case it was like a real rat-friendly atmosphere, maybe.
Yeah.
But
the Sammy Gravano phenomenon on YouTube is fucking outrageous. It's fucking crazy. Like, whoever thought, because I grew up in the 90s. Like, Sammy Gravano
Me too.
was a bad guy. Like, was a really bad guy. And I got to admit, when he first came out with the YouTube channel, I seen the podcast, I was entertained a little bit. But when I start getting involved and then I hear about Joyce Faraci's story and you know, and all this other stuff, and I'm like, yo, man, this guy's really like
the Alan Kaiser thing, yeah,
the Alan Kaiser thing. I can't watch it. I can't be entertained like how I was. You know what I mean? Like, I'd watch it and I thought it was funny, but at this point, I don't get no.
Same here. I watched a few of them. I liked his one about Supermax. That's it.
Yeah.
It was just like an interesting story of like how so secluded it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find it repulsive. I can only watch Sammy if I'm trying to do a project on him or something like that. I just can't watch him. It does make me sick. Mm-hmm. How he's glorified and they look up to this total creep.
There was a time when they were the best of friends. John Gotti promoted Sammy the Bull Gravano ahead of many old-timers to make him the #2 man in the Gambino crime family. And Sammy paid him back by becoming the star witness against him at the trial. Now Gotti's lawyers think they may get Gotti a new trial because they say Gravano lied on the stand by not admitting to 2 murders he allegedly committed. And Gotti's lawyers say they can back that up with jailhouse witnesses who were actually involved. Jim Fox, who oversaw the Gotti case for the FBI, suggested today the Gambino crime family has influenced, coached, and paid witnesses before.
One more very important thing in all this concerning John Gotti himself. He's under lockdown in a federal maximum security penitentiary, under lockdown 23 hours a day. He's been in jail 5 years. He knows he'll never get out. As tough as he is, he's got to be getting desperate.
In the court papers, Gotti's lawyers also charged that Gravano didn't tell the FBI about 5 tons of cocaine he was involved in bringing up from Colombia, and that by failing to tell them that, Gravano broke his deal with the feds to tell all, and now he should go to jail. During the Gotti trial, Gravano admitted to 19 murders, said he only committed one of them as the trigger man himself, and said he had nothing to do with drugs, although he said sometimes people who were involved with drugs got killed by the family. But what difference does it all make? If he left out a couple of murders or even a few tons of cocaine, what's that got to do with John Gotti's conviction? Well, Gotti's lawyers have a very simple legal theory. They say if they can prove that Gravano lied about himself, then that maybe he lied about Gotti too.
Why would Gravano confess to 19 of 21 murders? Why not 21 of 21? And if he confesses to 19 murders, why not admit he was involved in drugs? It just doesn't make sense.
The Gotti case has already been to the U.S. Supreme Court and back. And now, just a day before the appeal deadline would run out for good, Gotti's team is giving it another try.